Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Guam Board of Education for Tuesday, May 19th, 2026, located at the Gallery Building, Tijan, Guam. Ladies and gentlemen, our meetings have been properly announced and posted, and the public announcements included the May 12th edition of the Guam Post on page 20, and also the May 17th edition of the Guam Post on May 17th, and the required portals of the government of Guam for all board announcements, and through other means. We have an interesting agenda today. I would like to remind all the board members that we're going to try to keep our meeting to 2 hours today. 3? Oh, 2. That's what I said, 2. Yeah, 2 hours today. And also, for all the committees of the board, we will entertain your action portion of your discussion. Anything that requires action from the committees, we will take up today as well. To start with, let's look at our consent calendar. We have our April 28th, 2000, roll call, I'm sorry, roll call first, please, Dr. Wong Pat.
Present.
Gutierrez Maria.
Present.
McNitch Ron.
Here.
Sablan Angel. Torres Carl.
Present.
Okada Mary.
Here.
Guthert Judith.
Present.
Fidenko Timothy.
Here.
Terlahi Brian. Madam Chair, we do have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Our consent calendar includes our April 28th, 2026 regular meeting minutes, and also the April 28th, 2026 superintendent's report. Do I hear a motion for approval or for any changes? Thank you, Mr. McNitch. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez. Ready? All those in favor of approval of the April 26th regular meeting minutes, I'm sorry, April 28th regular meeting minutes and the April 28th superintendent's report. Discussion? Any questions? Yes? None? All right. Ready? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just before communication, I would like to take a moment of silence. We lost one of our assistant principal last week, Mr. Kim Fernandez. So I just ask that we have a moment of silence for him.
Thank you. Moment of silence.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, colleagues. Thank you. Communication correspondence received by the board after April 28th, 26th. Are there any correspondence? There are none?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I don't know if you're going to consider it correspondence, but I'm sure we received something from the governor's office that the superintendent's contract has been finalized and signed.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. I'm
Isn't
sorry.
that correspondence?
Yes, we did receive a notice from the governor's office, and the governor signed the contract for our superintendent. And of course, prior to the governor signing the contract, our attorney general indicated support of the contract as well. And yes, 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 it is, yes. And I'd also like to acknowledge the attorney general's office for working closely with our attorneys for the Guam Department of Education to resolve any questions regarding the contract itself. So all questions are resolved. It's official. And Dr. Wampat, congratulations on your official contract. Congratulations. Yes.
And also, we would like to thank Matt for helping out on that contract. You know, he did. Thank you so much for your help.
Thank you, Attorney. Thank you for very much. All right. Yes. Anything else on communications? All right. No. Okay, let's go to ex-official member reports. Is there any report from the Island-wide Board of Governing Students? Excellent, excellent. Guam Federation of Teachers.
Yes, thank you. I missed last week because I reserved the third Tuesday of the month, not the fourth, so I had appointments. I apologize. So my report will be upon meeting with the superintendent last week at our monthly meeting. We discussed some things that I brought to the table with her, such as the following of the contract for the master schedule for the last Friday of March from the principal. That's a master schedule for all the classes that will be offered for the next year in elementary through 12. And then the third Friday, it would be the teachers' time to put in for what classes they prefer. And the last day, which is coming up, all assignments, including room numbers, will be administered to the teachers. I hope that's being followed. I want to make sure that the public record hears that we are making sure that the CBA is followed. Also, the report, I got a little confused while hearing the report given to us for this meeting. The CBA, I noticed that, and I do watch when the school board was, the school board and the superintendent were at the legislative channel asking for money, which we desperately need. And I appreciate the fact that the CBA has mentioned that it costs you millions of dollars to fully support, which you have expressed supporting. We have no shame in seeing that school aides get to the school level and teachers get to the school level, and support for the counselors in the libraries is there in the boots, in the trenches, we should say, right there working. I appreciate that. I also agree with the request for maintenance, facilities and maintenance. I believe that's the right direction for things to go to. And I've asked the school board to management in the past to compare the outsourcing of the cleaning of the schools, which we lose vital other components besides just wiping the windowsill. And I see the windowsill was done a little bit better than last week. I wanted to emphasize that. But give me a cost. Let's do a cost analysis. We're all about fiscal savings and everything, but is it cheaper, or do we lose security with the janitors working at night? And so I'm still waiting for that report or that analysis. And I think it was be urgent to do that. Also, when we're looking at the dashboard, which was on there, I noticed and started to tally up the sizes of the school population. And I would like to see a population versus the capacity of these schools. I know we are entertaining the fact that there may be a way to save money by closing schools. It would be prudent, I think, to analyze that and even see if we do need more schools or less schools, right? Population versus capacity. And that capacity should be with schools that are permanent. Anything with a tin roof, I consider not permanent structure, even though we sometimes use them for 30 years. And then also in the CBA, since it was brought up, I looked into it a little bit more. And if I just take one section, and that goes back to the dashboard, when I was totaling up the populations, according to the dashboard, they conflict with the school activities vacant teacher CBA report as of April 24, 26. And I do understand people drop and people add, but some of those discrepancies are quite high. And then if I go into the column of the CBA, which we want clerks for school counselors, we want nurses, clerks for school nurses, we want clerks for school libraries under 400 population, we want a library tech, only tech one, for libraries for schools over 400 population, and those with 1,000 or more. We request, or we negotiated, and you agreed to, for 1,000 or more, a tech plus a clerk. And so in looking at the CBA positions here, it kind of confuses me in the fact that we see the population and then we see a vacant, but then sometimes I see a -1. Does -1 mean there was a position there that has been vacated, or is the -1 meaning they don't need one? The consistency of it is confusing, and it could be my little brain that can't comprehend it, but it's very confusing. And so if we go to a school, like for example, we go to Ocean View Middle School with a population of 309, but yet we see a solid one, not a -1 there. And that means I assume, and you know, when you assume what happens, you have a library tech there, and that doesn't need a tech. The tech should not exist there according to the CBA. Anyway, I can save the Department of Education a little money. I would like to help you out as much as possible, since we get blamed for adding more and more millions of dollars to your budget. And then if I total up all the ones with 400 in the check population, I see a 9 at the bottom vacancy. But when I count it, I see 11 vacancies. 11, not 9. And I'm assuming that the ones are the ones that are filled. And I also want to say to the board, I received a message from a librarian in Arahan who said, I should try to get the exact verbiage because it was very nice, but she was thanking you after some 20 years or 13 years, let me get 18 years of finally having a library tech to help her foster reading in her library, and she's very, very appreciative of all of you. So that's a positive note. And then we go back to the CBA with the positions. So just in that one category, there are mistakes. And so I fear that there may be other mistakes and other things. We are willing to help you see what you need. The contract says yes, a school aide, but a school aide for 2 hours in kindergarten, you know, not a school aide all day for them. And we know we need school aides. And Dr. Wampat is a fast talker, and so I was trying to write that down. She assured me she would get me the actual numbers she requested, and she did acknowledge the fact that it wasn't only the CBA that was requesting money, like ROTC instructors and school nurse and things like that. So that's was a very great meeting. She also asked, how do we can you think of some ideas on how to retain school aides? They seem to leave. And then there was a discussion of TAs and versus school aides. And we had a great discussion. We thought some more. We'll ponder that further down the road. But the bottom line comes down to the money, right? And then at the end of that, which the legislative channel cut off, just when Chris Barnett mentioned the fact that the superintendent was being hired at a national average, which I am in full support of. That this is a tough job. I don't think that should be cut that. And I also agree, and I didn't get to hear the final part, but she assured me that she does believe national averages are a basis for our teachers. And as you know, we're at a 3.8% inflation cost this year alone, and inflation by another month probably up 4%. America and Guam are struggling to make ends meet. Just fill up your gas tank and you'll feel it at the pump. And so she also alluded to the fact that there was a analysis that needed to be done for a teacher pay increase, which we believe is like 15% now below the national average. And the reason this is vital is because you are having teachers, 54, I believe, according to the report, retired recently. You will see more retire in the next year because we're at that crucial age where we have teachers under the old plan working for their 35 plus one and the 20% that maybe kept them on an extra 3 years to get their 3 high years. So it would be wise and prudent to give them another bump because that may keep them on for another 3 years when they try to get their 3 high. It's shenanigans, I agree, but nonetheless, you lose teachers every year and you lose support staff, aides to better paying jobs. And that's where the rubber meets the road, folks. And it's a hard situation to deal with, but it's fact. If you can get a great worker from another place, give them more money and you poach them from this department, well, that's the name of the game, isn't it? And so that statistical analysis was brought up on the GFT website, gftunion.com, for anyone who wants to read it. But I did print up papers by Dr. Sharma, and he did analysis of median average of the pay raise, a study. I don't know if you have to use the study from the Department of Administration. I don't know, but this may help you. So I'll leave you with that to ponder for the summer. I did make enough, I think, 1, 2, 3, 8. Yes, I did. For everyone, if you want to peruse that, but you can also look at it at gftunion.com. It's a February printing from Dr. Sharma. It's pretty good. The inventory of supplies and the things that are getting analyzed, I hope that continues. Look out for the water blasters and the washing machines. I hope you find them all. That will conclude my report. Thank you.
I have a response. I would like to make a comment. Tim, at the last board meeting, I brought up this thing about library technician, and I'm gonna try not to lose my temper. Superintendent, DFAS, and Mrs. Kidawat. I was told, and you brought up Ocean View. I think they don't read the board union contract of the enrollment. Ocean View has 309 students, and they just got a library technician. Finney Godzan, 779. F.B. Leon Guerrero, 894. No library technician. Library technician at Finney Godzan, since the former principal, Mrs. Garcia, has been requesting over and over. And I know, Tim, that you and I have talked so much about library technician. What is the problem? What is the problem? Somebody told me last meeting, oh, the HR made a mistake on the Ocean View. When students make a mistake, they get F, right? If people that are doing the work make a mistake, nothing? That school, for how many years did Finney Godzan did not have a library technician? I think as far back as Mr. Sablan when he was a PTO president. And that's the largest enrollment in the elementary is Finney Godzan. So don't tell me that the mistake was done at Ocean View, which was under the 400, 309. Why is it that Finney Godzan and FB don't have a library technician when their enrollment is up in the 800s? I hope that the next meeting you guys have an answer, because I try my best not to call you out, but I will continue. I will continue because I just don't understand. And I hope that there will be library technician at F. Leon Guerrero and Trinidad Elementary School. No more of this, somebody made a mistake. What a big mistake. The CBA, we have mentioned this since last year. CBA, they still, I don't know what's going on over Mr. DFAS at HR. I really don't know. But I try my best not to lose my temper, but it has been, and I brought this up in the last meeting. The school ends and no library technician. Mrs. Garcia retired for last year, but 2 years before that, they've been waiting for a library technician, so they have to bring in a clerk. And if they read the GFT, board union contract, they'll see that it says there. So you'll see, yes, why? A big mistake like this is unexcusable in my Bible, Superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez. Yes, Dr. McNish.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a brief point to Mr. Fedenko's comment. He mentions that our school teachers should get paid at least the average of teachers in the United States. I think they should be paid 20% more because our cost of living average is much higher. Thank you.
I think you're right. You're right. I have a couple comments and questions. First, I'd like to hear from the superintendent. If you could let us know how you're addressing the concerns expressed by the Guam Federation of Teachers, please.
Well, I brought it up to my deputies, and I know that my deputy every week meets with the school principals, so she has relayed that. I know I saw it on her agenda to make sure that, one is that we know what the vacancies are, that we know, and we're in compliance with CBA, and to have the principals let her know that so that she can communicate with CAT. So that is one. The second is that I've also brought up to DFAS deputy about the possibility of doing a study and analysis on several items. One that you didn't mention was the custodian, to look at the cost of having our own custodians versus what it costs for us to outsource it. The other is that I've had a conversation with Dr. Risa about the school aides, and what we're looking at is that we want to try to classify all of them basically as school aides 1, 2, and 3, and not to have different categories, such as, well, teacher assistants are the ones only for the Head Start program. All others, we want to try to make them consistent and also to train them. So we train half of our aides during spring break. This summer, we're going to train the other half, because what we want to do is that should there then be any absences, in particular with the adult support, where we're unable to go and hire an additional 160 of them, is that we're training all of our aides across the board so that they can cross-change, that should there be an absence, another will be able to cover and would not leave our children without an adult support. So those are, and the inventory, Dr. Joey Heath also has requested her maintenance people to look at the inventory as well of not bush cutters, riding mowers and water blasters.
A couple of points. Cost benefit analysis. I have to share with you folks that we have a law that allows the Department of Education to do a comparison, cost-benefit analysis for janitorial services, for food services, for fiscal plant maintenance. That's been a law since 2012. I was the author of that law. And the reason I authored that law when I was a senator in a former life was because I read some of the contracts for the maintenance and some of the contracts for the janitorial services that came out of the law to privatize some of these functions. And I was okay with the food privatization, you know, but I was very concerned about the fact that the Department of Education was supplying the cleaning materials for the janitors, and that we were also supplying some other materials and supplies for contractors to maintain certain things at the department. And I didn't think that was a common privatization methodology, and I got concerned about it because providing cleaning materials for all the schools, 39 schools, is very expensive, you know, and why would we privatize for the janitorial service if it did not include all of that? So that's why I authored that law. And I do encourage the department, as you do, from our friends at GFT, I'd encourage the department to look at the privatization of the janitorial services, as well as some of the contracting out of maintenance, because that was also required by the law that an earlier senator introduced and got passed. And I think we've overspent a lot of that on a lot of those things that we could have done in-house to save money, as shown by Mr. Guerrero when we did the in-house tearing down of some old buildings simply by having the right equipment to do it ourselves. And I'm glad to hear GFT supports these kind of initiatives. And I encourage the superintendent and her team, because we can only advise, we cannot require, but I encourage the superintendent to please consider that. Let's see how we can save some money, have a skilled workforce, consider the maintenance costs, consider for privatization, consider the janitorial services, and you know, how much we could save doing it ourselves and how much more efficient it would be. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Please consider that. All right. Mayor's Council, I notice our mayor representative is not here today. Anyone have a report to make on this behalf or to give us a status on anything? Dr. Wampat? No. All right, so we'll hold off on that for now. And we're going to move to unfinished business committee reports. First, we'll start with the superintendent's report. She has quite a number of things to give us a status report on. And I hope all of our friends here listening in person and who are here in person will look forward to this information, as well as those who are watching us on Zoom or video or some other platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the double session for FB River Middle School and Simon Sanchez High School, the principals meet on a weekly basis. We also have what we call a school readiness team who are assisting the schools to see what they need and in terms of facility repair, maintenance, supplies, equipment, and so forth. I know that Deputy Jackie has met with Linda Bonis and Tony Gumatauto to talk about not just the bus schedule, but actually looking at opening another area here in Teton, so that the buses, there won't be any congestion coming into the main entrance. The Cortec team also has been meeting with Deputy Heath. They did a walkthrough to look at the classrooms and to identify what the repair needs are. And I know that our facilities and maintenance people have been very responsive. They're actually at the school on a daily basis. Like one of the first things they're doing is clearing out some of the storage rooms right now that will be used for classrooms. So they do have a punch list of all the things that have been identified by the principals of both schools, and the maintenance people are actually going through them. They have completed their their master schedule already, which is on May 21st. And just to let you know, because I know they always ask this question about the congestions and the time they're starting, there would be staggered times in which Sanchez will come in and a staggered time for Titan as well to come in. On the FEMA projects, we are still compiling a lot of the work orders, invoices, and POs. The problem that we've encountered is that when some payments are being made, they have not indicated whether they are for FEMA or they're just paid out for local funds. So out of the 23 schools, FEMA has awarded, 9 of them already have initiated the reconciliation process, pending the labor costs, and 14 have not initiated the reconciliation costs. I was asked by the Lieutenant Governor to identify one of our staff to also work closely with the executive branch for FEMA, not just for Sinlaku, but also for Mawar. And so the individual that we have recommended, Brian, forgot his last name. Brandy, I'm sorry, Brandy. So Brandy is assigned to be our point of contact for the department. Mold mitigation and fencing. I know that they have awarded, GSA has awarded the first part of the mold mitigation, and that is to identify the areas where the mold is, and then the second part of it will be to go in and mitigate. Fencing already has been awarded also, and you're able to see which schools have been completed, and price is at 95%. I know I saw Carbolito, you're right, the whole fence is down.
Yeah.
But because they're gonna come in to put the new fencing, so.
already did.
Oh, they did, oh, well, this morning, I didn't see it, okay, thank you.
I just passed it.
Wonderful. The dashboard reports, I know that Dr. Yajoa has really taken over in this, setting up this Power School data analytics, and it's at 99% completed. The 1% is on data quality and security management, but she expects to complete that by the end of this month. She also has created a dashboard on facilities, so we'll be able to see all of our facilities, what needs to be done, also tracking of personnel and student data, and she's looking into the assessment as well of our students. And the one most recent thing that she discovered is that in the 10 years, we only have seen a 1% growth. And that is an area in which the senior management and I have decided that to place a lot of focus is on student achievement, and we've been working with the Comprehensive Center as well, who's going to assist us with WEAC and also Braille. And we had a teleconference with them yesterday. On our finances side, we discovered that Actum Services, which is for SPED, that we owe them $24,000, and we had IAO review it for procurement purposes. And the discussion is it being a small purchase versus an RFP for professional services, and payment is ongoing. One of the, in addition to this morning, a conversation we have is that we're unable to recruit for physical therapy. No matter how many advertisements we put out, we're also looking now at for a professional services, which would be under $25,000. Procurement process, we called all of our people in, that everyone that's involved in procurement. We had a 2-day meeting to look at how we can streamline our internal process. We can't control those affecting us outside, such as the AG, but we definitely can control what we do. So everyone is on board. We're setting up a flow chart, and it will be sent out to everyone hopefully by today. And the reason for this, that we did this, is because not only must we spend our budget this year, we also have federal grants that we also have to spend this year. And then when the lapses are released, then those also would have to be spent again this year, which is September 30th. A financial management review findings for fiscal year 21 have been successfully reconciled. We were told by USDA that we have $3.2 million in which we're unable to show proof of invoices. DFAS and his team were working real hard to find them, and they were able to draw down 1.2 million. There was a remaining $500,000 invoices, and we're proud to say and happy to say is that those were found, so we do not now owe USDA a penny. So DFAS have to basically also contact actually Tyler Muniz, because when the third-party fiduciary agent left here, physically left there, all of the information, financial information, should have transferred into Tyler Muniz. We found out that we couldn't find many of them, and we just couldn't figure it out. And finally, DFAS decided to call the president and basically told them is that we are your customers, you are our vendor, we pay you so much money for so many years. We need all this information, not just for our audit, but for our data. And he was able to come through the very next day, and now we have access to all of our information, invoices, so we're in good shape. Thank you very much, DFAS, for that. The JP Torres Success Academy, I just want to basically let you all know that it is not a school, it is a program. For those of you who know the history, this was actually a PACE program that was for behavior problem students for middle and high school, and they were housed at the JP Torres campus in Santa Rita. When Mr. Fernandez came in, he was getting reports that children could not go to the program, it was too far away for them. So he brought the program here, but changed it, and it became now a program to address high school students who do not have the credits, enough credits to graduate. What we found was that there's a duplication of services here that we provide to these children. Remember, these are 18-year-old students, and by law, they can be in our campus until they're 19 years of age, provided there's no broken time that they are in attendance. So that means they stay with us until they're 19 years old. What we do offer in all of our schools is is what we call the intervention. They call it a boost program, where we actually pay our teachers a stipend to work with the children one-on-one, to tutor them so they can recover their credit. We also provide federal funds from consolidated grant to SMUJAO, and they too would take our students usually during after school or in the evening and would help them with their credit recovery. We also have the community college who have adult education as well as a federal program. So those two, SMUJAO and GCC, are free for our children. They do not have to pay a penny for those programs. We also have in our schools Escuela Pueni as well to help again our children recover some credit. And sometimes there are other intervention programs like before in the early morning and lunchtime or after school. So we have actually met or provide more programs to be able to help our adult students. I'd like to tell you that we, as of today, there would be approximately 79 to 80 students who graduate from the Success Academy. And to also let you know that the one remaining student, a female, has decided because she's working full-time during the daytime, she does not want to go back to her home school. She wants to go to GCC for the adult education to get her one student left in the program. There's no one registered in the program. All the personnel, we would not lose any staff members. 10 teachers, a counselor, and a librarian that met with HR already. We're giving them first priority in choosing a school of their choice to go to. The remaining teachers also indicated that they want to continue to stay at and to teach at Sanctuary and DYA. So the benefits, of course, is that we are filling now vacant positions in our schools. That's my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wampat. Any questions for Dr. Wampat? Yes, please.
Dr. Wampat, although you didn't say anything about it, but it's just a rather a curiosity, I recall that there are a number of classrooms that were built in a vacant lot up in GEB, which was supposed to have been for Simone Sanchez. My understanding, and shortly after the storm, I heard that there were a few air conditioners and windows that were broken, but other than that, they're pretty. My lead to the question is, now that you have resolved the double session and going into a separate facility here in Teton, what are your intentions with that temporary building that has been just about completed? Are we required to repay?
No. Okay. So the plan is that we are continuing to do the repairs and some renovations at the existing FB Leon Guerrero campus. And several wings are ready, but there's still more work to be done. We took down the temporary buildings at the existing FB campus. Our guys did that in 2 days and at no cost to the department. Because the quote that we got was $120,000 to just tear down those buildings and remove them. Our guys did it for free, at their time. FEMA gave us $8 million to 20 classrooms. And that's the property of Guam Housing Corporation right across FB Leon Middle School. That has been awarded. They've gone in, they've got all their permits, so they're already starting to set up. And the only thing they're waiting for are the materials to come in. They've given us the date now of August, getting a turnkey to give us, to tell us when the building is ready. The Guam Housing 24 units have been badly damaged and vandalized, by whomever it is that they've stolen. Yes, windows, as a matter of fact, shutters, they've broken, chipped away the walls to stole the shutters, and copper wiring. So they had to cancel the current RFP and changed it because now there's more work to be done because of the damages. And that now they've not given us a date. What we're doing, plan B, of course, is that we are moving forward to try to get the other wings repaired. We're looking at RFPs that, we need to send out. So as soon as we get the notice or the amendment of the law, the budget law, which requires that our lapse funds be used only for gyms and sporting fields, that now would allow us to open it up for capital improvement projects and other priorities. And we've made FB Leon Guerrero Middle School the top priority, which will cost us $10.2 million. I was assured by the Senator, Senator Borja, who introduced the legislation, that when they go into session, that bill will be on the top of the agenda. They will send it down to the voting file, and then once they vote on it, send it to the governor for her signature. As soon as we get that, all of the RFPs will go out. Everything has been prepared in advance in anticipation of this bill passing, and that we'll send them all out so that we can quickly have a quick turnaround so we can finish FB Leon Guerrero Middle School. So that's the current situation. So the plan is also with public health, is that we're gonna do only the inspection by wings, not the whole campus, because it won't be ready. And we don't want, because it has to be a zero citation, so that means we must pass. And so we're doing it wing by wing, or classroom by classroom, so to speak.
Okay, I understand now where you're coming from. Then my question, clarification. Will FB Leandro then be utilizing this temporary classroom?
Yes, they will, but
Okay.
but at the same time, remember that when we do the master schedule, if by chance it is not quite ready, and they're in building your master schedule, what you do is that you can have the teachers during the prep move and another teacher comes in. So you're maximizing full utilization of your classrooms. So that means sharing classrooms. And then as soon as the 20 classrooms are ready and are built, then of course they would move and then it would just be, they would have their own classrooms. When that is all said and done, the plan is next year is that Sanchez will move back to Jigo, to the FB campus, and they would now be sharing all three, the original campus of FB, the 20 classrooms to be built by FEMA, and the 24 units that will be renovated will be used by FB and Simon Sanchez.
Okay, my final question. There is a road that leads to both Sanchez and FB Leandro. Once this building are to be occupied, will that road be closed during school hours?
My understanding is that no, it won't be closed. They are going to put, however, some speed bumps to prevent anyone from driving, fast through the area. And the only other safety factor would be to also gate the area so to make sure that they secure the schools. And there would be a walkway between both campus, opening the gate at FB and opening a gate at where the 20 classrooms are for the children to cut across. But the gate to the road, I'm sorry, will remain open.
Okay. I don't know whether that's a very concern for me. My final question is Simon Sanchez, did I hear you say in 1 year
Yes,
for them to move Simon Sanchez?
next year,
to
not
F-
this,
to
not this,
FB,
not this
to
coming school
share
year.
with FB?
Yes,
So you are then
That's the plan.
sharing the possibility, at least as of right now, of a double session.
no, because they would have enough, similar to what we're doing at TGen, is that we would have enough classrooms for both schools because of the additional 20 that are being built and the 24 that's going to renovate it.
Okay. Senior moments, I'll withhold my next question until I get it back. But thank you very much.
I have a question. Dr. Wampat, on the finances, on the position physical therapist. What other means of effort does the department, especially HR, what are they doing to advertise for the positions that are hard to fill? It's on the website. Some people don't go to the website. Is there any other ways? DOE has Instagram, they have Facebook showing dancing and everything. Why don't they use that to advertise for this critical position, physical therapists? There's always been only one, and that was the therapist that we hired out of New York, and she retired. I'm tired of getting to be sued because we're not providing the services to the students that needs that. It's good for those people that are doing that heading those section. We need to find doing more effort, advertise. advertise for the position, because some of them don't go even to the, the website. You go in there and you look for something, but you have to make the effort to advertise for these positions, because these are the positions that are needed for the students. I sure don't want to get another lawsuit coming because we haven't had a therapist since the last therapist retired. It is very unacceptable. And I know that you are a new team, but Mr. Leon Guerrero, you need to get your HR. They need to hustle for the position that are for the kids. These are the positions that are needed at the school for the students. We cannot get it, we have an issue with Tiny Eyes, we have an issue now with Actum, we have an issue with all those things. When are we going to be serious and provide the students with this position that they need the services? So right now, no one is doing physical therapists because that former employee retired. It just really, I'm being quiet, but it's not going to be like this forward to December. And that's why I want to bring it out so that it reflects in the minutes, so that when the next meeting minutes, I will ask you again, follow up. What are we doing? What are we doing for the positions at the school? That is for the kids, especially these kids that needed that services. DOE has Instagram, you have Facebook. Put it in there. Put it in there, because a lot of people are watching it, more than going into your internet and trying to look for what position or vacancy. Education interpreter, it's about time that they continue to announce. These are positions that are needed, and we cannot continue to, well, we need this, we need that. You don't need any more AO. The schools have their AO and AA. We need these positions at the school. You don't need any more program coordinators. This physical therapist has been vacant and it continues. So I hope they're not waiting until there are 5 applicants to certify. Because that has been the practice here. We only have 3 applicants. We have to wait till 5. No, you don't. It's a critical position. So I just want to see that the next meeting, Dr. Wampat, give us an update of what, how many has been hired, how many, and what is the status, because these are for the school, for the kids. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Can I just have a PIO respond as well?
Okay, sorry. So back in January, we did try it one time where we used social media and we created an advertisement for the special education aides, and we saw a huge success with it. The only issue is I personally do not have the equipment. I had to ask the Simon Sanchez High School Film Club to help me put it together, film it. They had all the equipment with it. But as of right now, I did work with the federal programs, the CG grant people, and they are trying to get me equipment so that I can be able to do that kind of advertisements, that kind of videos at a higher rate, at a higher tier, at higher quality.
And I also want to add that even this morning in our conversation with IAO and our AG, is that we're going to use under GAR to put out a professional service to hire these individuals. These are usually contracts for $25,000 for physical therapy. We did renew our contract with Tiny Eye, and they're able to provide occupational therapy, and speech therapy, but not physical therapy. So we also heard, and the reason why we want to do this professional service is we're hoping that these individuals then will get a business license and apply, and then they will provide services, by the hour in which they are providing services for the children. And then we don't hire them full-time, just part-time, and we don't pay for the benefits. So we would be able to do this with a small contract. So that I know Dr. Risa is going to be working on this week.
I have a question,
Yes.
couple questions.
Dr. Okada.
Dr. Wampat, now that you've been able to recover some of the data from the TPFA management system, are there some audit resolutions that we can provide to OPA? Because I know the textbook audit had some missing documentation and some of the other financial audits from years past. So as part of your reconciliation or your, you've got to resolve as part of your resolution, it might be important to follow through with those additional documentation.
Yes, I just want to say that, yes, we were successful in recovering that data. And yes, we have recovered 100% of the identified missing documents in the textbook audit. They really were not lost, let's say. They were in an electronic cloud somewhere, which has been anchored and accessed and downloaded. And we are preparing the information to send to the public auditor. We have all the documents.
Okay, that's good news. The second question I have is based on your comment regarding the use of FBLG in fiscal year 27-28 for Simon Sanchez and FBLG. How are you going to address the CTE classes? Automotive, construction, culinary, electronics. There's no shops up there. So please take that into consideration before a final decision is made.
Thank you, Dr. Okada. Yes, Mr. Adam.
Dr. Wampat, or Mr. Borja, he's gone. One of the reasons why that you're not getting too many applicants, and Mrs. Gutierrez is right. You have to wait for 5. 4 of those people will probably withdraw, and the reason why, they never called me, so they quit. But more importantly, goes back to the main issue, the private sector pays more, and they're not going to give that up. Thank you.
Thank you. I have also one comment on the hiring issue. I've said this before, I've asked for this before. I didn't seem to get very far, but I'd like to request, strongly request superintendent to immediately place appropriate announcements, ads in our 2 island newspaper publications, both the digital and the one printed version, listing all the vacancies at the Department of Education, particularly the priority positions that we've been talking about. People look at these publications. We don't seem to be using it very often for any personnel kind of announcements. I think if we came out with a full page ad, DOE is looking for qualified individuals to apply for the following positions, list them and list the pay, starting and ending pay, or whatever the financial aspects to the positions are. Please call us immediately, come and fill out an application available on the web. We want to see and hear from you. Invite people to apply that may qualify and advertise them in the newspapers, digital version and the print version. And let's see what kind of response we get. People don't know what's available. They do not know. People ask me, gee, how come we don't know what's available at DOE? We don't see it. So let's change that dynamic. So I'd like to call upon the superintendent to please consider this recommendation again. This is probably the 9th time I've made it. And let's get it out there in the media, in the newspapers. And if you think of some other applications, get it on the radio station. DOE is looking to fill many positions. Please contact their HR office immediately. We're getting ready for the next school year. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, just one thing. The retirees, we brought this up. A retiree right now is teaching. The end of the school year, there's gonna be a job fair. They go again and line up. if a principal recommend that they continue, why do they have to go to a job fair just to get a back and apply again? They're there for 2-3 hours to apply. The last principal was given recommendation for them to continue or come back. Why do they have to go to the job fair? And that's why some of them say, forget it. I have to go to the job fair again. And then when they go to sent to a school, which is Ukudu, where they have the job fair, they're outside the classroom, and guess who's inside? Because they referred to go to room 10. Guess who's inside in the room 10 is the principal that they had the last school year. We're making it really hard for those retired teachers who are interested to come back and help because of the shortage. We brought this up, and I hope with your new team stop this. Once the principal recommends that that this person, Maria Gutierrez, will come back and teach again, then that's it. Fill up, process it. Because sometimes the school opens, those retirees, they're still waiting to get their referral or their BA to go to the school. So the students are in the cafeteria because there's not enough school aides to watch them because they have to be outside supervising. We need to train treat those retirees, because some of them are 20 years, 30 years, but they still want to continue. We need to treat them well because they have worked taught our kids. But DOE is making it so hard. And I hope that this team will not have that done anymore. Because when school ends this week, those district teachers, if the principal said, I want her to come back, they should be processed. Go to it, give the list to HR, and HR start processing them. So that at the beginning of August, they're already at the school site. Some of them, they don't report to the school because their paperwork are not done at HR. So I just want to make that, please, we need to change that practice. No more of that. Let's treat those teachers, the retirees. Because some of them said, just standing there and you're waiting in line, then you have to go to the interview, then you go to the next that is not our teachers. And these teachers maintain their certification. We need we need those people at HR has to move fast. Fast. Because that has been a practice. And we brought this out last year. Because we had teachers that they first day of school they can't because their paperwork is not done. No more of that. I really don't want to see that anymore, Dr. Wampat. And with DFAS, if your people have to work.
Discussion that we had, the work session, and I thank Mr. Fedenko for being there as well. And the suggestion is that if our budget was going to be a road over budget, then we need for the senators to realize that in order then for us to operate for this new school year, that we're going to have to take some drastic, decisions in terms of trying to live within our budget. And that was one of the suggestions to present to the senators, which I did, in the hopes then that they do not force our hands to do just that. So we gave them several suggestions on how they can help us. One, of course, is to increase our budget so we can live within our means to keep the lights open, and we gave them a list of those things. We asked them to untie our hands so that then we would be able to go out and lease the 2 decommissioned schools. And the third, we even recommended that when the GEB schools matured, their bonds have matured, that they turn around and appropriate those monies to us, which is about $9 million. That was the suggestion to the board. We have made efforts to even give them resolutions to help us help ourselves. And the last resort, yes, and as you know, many of our schools are underutilized. We have schools that have a capacity for 800 and there are only 300 students there. And it doesn't make sense when we don't have money to maintain those schools fully, then we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So we have to maximize. Any decisions that I've made, even yes, with the JP Taurus, is not just about, ending the program and using it for Simon Sanchez. That was an economic decision. That's a $2 million program that is duplicated in our existing programs in our schools. It also would help with the vacancies that we have, where we don't have to pay those extra monies to go out and recruit extra teachers, when all we have to do would be then to place those teachers who are not losing their jobs to fill vacancies in our schools. Those are the different efforts that we have made to keep ourselves afloat.
And thank you, Madam Superintendent. I mean, you're explaining it now, but if you could have just explained it before we went to the media and says, JP Torres Success Academy is ending this school final. I mean, if you had told us that and brought that up in your reports, I wouldn't be arguing right now that there is no communication. You just finished saying and clarifying and justifying it. But we don't get anything. Simone Sanchez, I want you to say, I mean, I asked you at the last meeting, is Simone Sanchez gonna end double session this year? You said yes. Is JFK gonna end double session this year? You said yes. The question now is, what's gonna happen to Okudu and FB? They're not ending their double session, correct?
Yes,
Or wrong?
Yes, they are.
So
They will
where
FB.
is FB Leon Guerrero going to go?
They'll go back to their own campus.
How?
There are several wings that have already been completed by Northern Construction, and they will go through public health inspection. And then at the same time, we are also working feverishly to get other wings also repaired and refurbished while we're waiting for the 20 classrooms that will be built by FEMA monies.
So today, when we start school in August of this year, there will be no double session, period.
Yes.
Correct. And I'm happy because the board has been fighting for that all these years. But the only thing, like I said, is if we just get the communication, we wouldn't be, I mean, this is the Guam Education Board. This is not the Guam Ply Board to be screwed to the wall. We just need respect and be communicated with. We understand where you're all coming from, and we thank you for all the work you're doing, but if you just let us know, maybe perhaps me, I probably won't be. So, like Ms. Gutierrez, raise my temper.
I know
So
that there was a separate handout on JP tokens that we gave you in the last board meeting. And we waived the reporting of it, and I don't have it, but there is one, and I'll make sure that you get a copy of that report.
Is there a way, Madam Superintendent, are those reports also published in your portal, or is it just the agenda? When the minutes and all that, are they made available where the public can read it?
Yes, it is. It's on the website.
The whole thing? Thank you, and thank you for the clarification.
Very good comments, and yes, Ms. Gutierrez.
Because this is to my colleague, Mr. Sablan, just to give some background history, and my colleague, Mr. Ada, is there, about the JP Tories, and you say about why are we giving certificate. Mr. Ada was the chair of the Guam Education Board when the JP Tories was changed to Success Academy. The reason to Success Academy, because that was the program for those students that are lacking credit at the school. When Mr. John Fernandez visited JP Torres, he asked some of the students, because it used to be PACE, why are you here? Oh, my home school sent me here because I'm always, I'm not wearing uniform all the time, or I'm misbehaving at my school. So Mr. Fernandez reached out to Joe Sanchez, Deputy Joe Sanchez, was very aggressive in looking for funding. Said there must be a way that we can get these kids that are these students that are lacking credits to find a grant. And Mr. Sanchez was able to find this grant. And that is the reason that success is there, because when these kids graduate with the credit they recover, they become successful. And that's the only thing the board approved is making the name Success Academy. It started in 2016. The first principal, and I don't know if he's here, is Mr. Dexter Fulu. Mr. Fulu worked hard a year after 2016 to make sure that that school is accredited, so that when the students that graduate from JP Torres, their certificate or diplomas that will say an accredited program. And that was when Mrs. Christy Jackson visited the school. She was the U.S. Ed that was overseeing the funding here in Guam. And he saw one student and asked, why are you here? Said, my credit. Okay, make me a promise. If you get to graduate, I will come back to Guam for your graduation. And Christy Jackson came. So that was under Mr. Ada's leadership. Then, when they did an assessment of how many students are there, there's only 8 students or 10 students from the south. Most of the students are from the central and the north. So at that time, Mr. Fernandez, through Mr. Ada, say, can we get this building C, and we'll move the JP program down here, and that's where it stayed. So yes, it's a program, it's not a school. And that was why. And now it received its 2016. It got its it was accredited for 6 years. So, and I believe they did apply again for accreditation. But that's the history of JP Torres. So, and that was under Mr. Ada's leadership, and that's the board didn't have to approve moving, closing it down there. Southern High School, bringing it here. It's the program. So this is a federal funded funding. So I hope that they will continue to have this funding. So, but then later on, they changed. Some of the schools say we can do this on our own. So those kids get to stay now at their home school, and there are some Escuelang Poingi, the Asmujao. There's all kinds of tutoring at their home school where they can catch up with their credit. So I just want to give a history. Thank you, Mr. Adam.
I've said this and I'll repeat it. Not one child from JP Torres got admitted into DYA. I was a director of DYA, and I repeat, not one child. So in other words, the Success Academy is a successful program. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. McNinch.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one quick comment. I would like to kindly suggest that our board, under 17 GCA 16A, there's a provision for a joint board of education. I think there's a greater conversation on how UOG, GCC, and the school board can all work together, particularly when we have a variety of students. And I know that GCC has a GED program and an adult high school. There's a lot of good opportunities for us to work on things jointly. But also just in terms of school closure, we should probably think more in terms of how we can work with either the legislature or other officials and make community learning centers so that the schools don't go away. They just get used for the purposes of learning in the various villages. There's nothing worse than seeing a school not used because they're a vibrant part of the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Those are good suggestions. Board members, I'd like to make a request if we can reorder the agenda in order to accommodate our special visitors today and to recognize them. Is there any objection? Motion, is there a second? Second, okay, we have a motion. All those in favor of reordering the agenda? All those in favor? Yes? Those opposed? Motion passes. So, ladies and gentlemen, board members, we are going to recognize first our Sodexo Future Chefs Challenge honorees here. And we have two individuals from Weddingdale Elementary School, Makoa Melawat, who won second place, and Haley Ray Bloss, who won third place in this wonderful competition. Would you please come forward with your coach? Congratulations. Are you eating? You're eating as well. What was the meal that you cooked to win this wonderful award? Chicken spinach? Oh, chicken spinach. That's one of my favorites. Oh my gosh. Congratulations, Kelly Ray. This is for you, sweetie. What was the food that she prepared for this competition? Does anybody know? I bet it was good. Spaghetti and meatballs. Oh my gosh. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So let's have our little picture. Congratulations. Thank you. And our coach here, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, that's great.
Damon, can we get Sodexo in the picture as well? It's Sodexo Future Chefs, yes.
Sodexo, come on up. Yes, Sodexo. They sponsored the Are you gonna put this on the menu? Put that on the menu. Put it on the menu. That is on the menu. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Welcome, welcome. All right. What are we gonna do here? Okay, and what are we gonna do? So I'll just call it. Okay, all right. Well, our second group is from George Washington High School. The Army Junior ROTC Warrior Battalion 2026 Golden Bear West Coast National Champions. We'd like to ask the principal and the students to come up. Come on up, students in the battalion and the principal and the coach. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that trophy.
We'd like to recognize Riley Bloss, Jalika Booker, Josiah Cruz, Anthony Cruz, Venancio Cruz, Christopher DeBroom, Jaron Dela Cruz, Nicholas Dela Cruz, Terrell Duenas, Seishi Flores, Maya Franco, Neve Nala Fritz, Xander Garrido, Skylar Gogui, Jaden Indalacio, Collins Iakar.
So let's get a group picture, and then your battalion commander will distribute the certificates with us and the principal and our superintendent.
Here, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
How are you?
All right, over here, guys. 3, 2, 1.
Viva Gecko!
Now we have Simon Sanchez coming up. Congratulations on earning top honors at the Rocky Mountain Western Classic Drill Competition in Denver. They got the Expeditionary Award, the Unarmed Drill Team Award, third place and first place, the Armed Drill Team Award for third place and first place, the Color Guard first place Saber Color Guard and Armed Color Guard Award, and the overall team awards, second place overall unarmed and overall armed, the Norway Cup. Where is our come up? Bring it, right. Come on in. Scare everybody.
Okay, guys, ready? 3,
Let's get pictures first.
3, 2, 1. Back up.
Mrs. Barron, can you distribute these to all the students, please? May I pass this down to you? In the interest of time, we have such a large group here today. So,
Wrong. All right, thank you.
all right, thank you.
This way. Yeah. Thank you.
Guam National.
Okay.
Now we are going to recognize the Guam National Forensic League team finalists for the National Speech and Debate Tournament. John F. Kennedy High School, Sujin O. Harvest Christian Academy, Noel Camacho. Academy of Our Lady, Audrey Sunko. Father Duenas Memorial School, John Paolo Pasqua and Christopher Tamio. And Okadu High School, Cadence Rabino and Keisha Natividad. And George Washington High School, Drell Brandon, Guam's representative at the 2026 National Poetry Out Loud Competition. Please come up.
Which one's that one?
Are you here, Sujin?
They're here.
Come on up, everybody. Let's get a group picture, everybody.
You guys can come on. Yeah, go ahead.
Coaches,
Close up next. Yeah.
come on up. Please come up, coaches.
Wait, I need that.
Mr. Watley.
Five. Number 5.
Here.
Close up, please. I'll send this.
Thank you. Congratulations. All right. We'd like to invite the close-up group to come up representing Guam in the National Close-Up Civic Education from George Washington High School. Jaden Duplass, Ronaldo Borja II, Megan Diaz, and Dara Duenas.
Close up.
From John F. Kennedy High School, we have Reika Blanco, Dallas Moher, Akira Munoz. From Okado High School, Jelaine Gomez and Steph Vasquez. From Tejan High School, Blake Flory and Kathleen Hong. Please come up. From Simon Sanchez High School, Sky Beltran and Gracie Serrano. From Southern High School, Elizabeth Westwind and Kiara Kitawa. Please come up.
Yes, I'm the one. Okay, one more.
I just want to acknowledge that one of the Island Board of Governors student from George Washington, Reina Borja, is here too. Congratulations, she's a student board member.
3, 2, 1.
gentlemen, the SIFA First Lego League Guam Regional Championships, Estimbo Middle School, Komodo Dragons, first place overall champion, SIFA First Lego League Guam Regional Championship. We have seven students from that. And also the AM Excavators, second place overall. SIFA First Lego League Guam Regional Championship. Students, come on up from second place overall. From LP Alkaline Middle School, RoboPause, Robot Design Award, come on up. From the Cyber Cats, Robot Design Award, please come up. From Jose Rios Middle School, Excavating Voyagers, Robot Design Award, come up in front here for pictures. The Inalahan Middle School, Rising All Stars Award, the Warriors, come forward. Please. Their DPSS Public Health Inspection.
Squeeze.
It's so hot.
Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You guys can squeeze it just a little bit more. Okay, ready. 1, 2, 3. I want to go to favorite. Come here.
Okay, our next group. This is the Hyatt Miss Chamorro Culinary Competition. We have the mocktail competition with Oakville High School, Southern High School representatives. Please come up. And the Denachi competition from Southern High School, Judge's Choice. Students, please come up. And we have the Sodexo Future Chef. That'll be next. Is that the already? Okay. We already did
Southern High School. Southern High School.
Making sure.
Southern High School. No? Thank you.
3, 2. Is that your last one?
Number 12. Oakville High School. Sergeant Major Vincent C. Santiago, D. 202. Sergeant Major, Instructor of the Year. This is very nice.
Yes, see, they said all of us.
Are you sure?
So you're Andy?
Three, 3, 2, 1. Over here, 3, 2, 1. Very much.
Wow. And we have one here for Andy Topasna, selected to advance to the regional semifinals at Presidential 1776 Award Competition.
Mom and Dad.
Join us. Family, come on up, join us.
Ready, 3, 2, 1.
And we have a certificate for Agatha Johnson Middle School. Congratulations on being granted a 6-year accreditation status by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges.
Librarians, watch out. So you know.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, thank you. One more?
We have one more for Estuvo Middle School. Congratulations on getting an A on your Department of Public Health and Social Services Public Health Inspection. An A.
She's coming.
Estuvo Middle School. Please come up.
Oh, sorry, with my students.
Thank you. I'll do my students outside the pictures. Okay. Congratulations.
I got a lot of
for your school.
Oh, thank you.
Look.
0 next year.
All right.
Okay, ready, 3, 2,
Oh, thank you very much. Hardworking staff. Thank you, thank you. All right, board members. Thank you for participating in the recognition. I want to thank you for setting up the system.
Oh, next one, you want me to go on the.
Yes. As we begin resuming our work, let's please approve the superintendent's report and our travel proposed for the superintendent.
Move to approve the,
We need a proper, okay, we'll approve it again.
I move to approve the superintendent's report inclusive of her request to travel to CCSSO and PIWN.
We have a motion, we have a second. Second, all those in favor? Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Yes.
Since we're talking about travel, and I did talk to Dr. Wampat about this because of the NASB, our professional development and membership includes the DOE legal. And I would like that, I know registration will be forthcoming for the conference in Baltimore in October. And I would like to ask that maybe by July, registration comes out, to include the legal that always helps us here at the, during the board meeting to attend the National State Board of Education, because there will be a session there also with all the attorneys for the Board of Education. I did request this. I did talk to Mr. Paulo in the last exchange, and she said, please, we would like to see, they will have the Nicosia, that's the abbreviation, will be also having their meeting at the same time with the National State Board of Education. So, Dr. Wampat, please consider that, and it will be under the board on site PDF fund, because that's where we include the attorneys for DOE. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez, and Superintendent, please arrange for that. Thank you very much. Thank you kindly.
Do we have to?
Yes.
It's not on, do we have to approve that motion? Next meeting?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
act on it.
All right.
Okay,
I was gonna make a motion, but then it's
Thank
not
you.
here then.
we'll hold till next meeting. Thank you very much. Okay, we're back to our agenda. Is there anything from the executive committee? I don't believe there is at this time. Instructional and Academic Support Committee, Head Start report. Do we have a report for me? Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alan Cruz, Social Services Supervisor for Angelina LePay Program Director, who's currently off island. Okay, so for the Head Start report, we have two items for action. Basically, under the budget and fiscal, if I can just go over the report and maybe circle back to that approval. So for our previous fiscal years, we had at fiscal year 23 at 98.9%, with the following year at 90.1%, and current year at 67.7%. So as the fiscal year ends, that will eventually lower down. Okay. So with it, we've encumbered some of it with our training and technical assistant TNTA grants at 73.5%, and we have some anticipated cost savings from April to now of about $608,000. So our action to our request is so we can, with this projected cost savings on unfilled vacancies, that we use that for our other budget categories. We have with our regular meetings at our regional office, we do discuss this matter as well to make sure that we put it in appropriate categories, such as replacement of some of the Head Start equipments. For example, the play sheds and the playground got blown away from the typhoon, so we'll probably use that to replace some of those items. The playground, like the tricycles, we all recover, but that plastic playhouse storage container blown away in pieces. So those would be like some of the requests from me, along with the carryover unexpended funds. So whatever we may anticipate for this current school year, that we roll it over for the following fiscal year as well. Okay, as far as our grant application for non-competing, we did have some revisions that we did work with our regional office to, with some clarifications. We resubmitted it with all of those clarifications they told us to make changes on. Along with our change in scope, we were looking at lowering the number of enrolling students to better suit our staffing pattern and some of the challenges we've had with under enrollment. Other challenges we had was some school site classrooms were not always filled up to capacity, which is a requirement of our program. And some of that can be due to, we have similar programs in the same district area where kids were also going to, such as private schools or charter schools. Or in some instances, we had like a universal pre-K and a Head Start in one school site. So, we're looking to kind of redistribute and maybe close down some centers because, of staffing shortages within our staffing pattern and budget, as well as putting those, if we do move a Head Start or close one, that we work with a superintendent Dr. Liwag to maybe have another preschool program in there, such as a universal pre-K in a place where Head Start does not have a classroom. So, so just so we can distribute the preschool programs across island in almost every elementary school district. Okay. Meals, we are looking, we have the meal reports there attached in the program there. Our staffing, which we have reported in the past with the current staffing vacancies of community program aides, Head Start classroom aides, limited term teachers, and we are pending the receipt of a fully executable request to fill the following of a clerk typist 3 in lieu of a secretary 1 typist and an assistant program director in lieu of 2 federally funded community program aides. So it's a little bit of a restructuring of our organization to have better staffing to operate the program. Some of our federal updates include our notification, our official notification of our risk assessment notification. We were given a notification on May 5th, which gives us a corrective action plan to be completed by September 1st. We do have some upcoming meetings with it, which is on July 17th to discuss the follow-up review of it, as well as an after corrective action date of September 10th to close out the corrective action plan to ensure that the program was in compliance of everything that needed to be addressed. I did want to assure the board that since the beginning of this incident that we did have, that the program actually has been working to correct any issues, and we have been having a training and technical assistance assigned from the regional office to go through our sites and ensure that there's, health and safety is being addressed in all issues of the program, mostly with our facilities and some with our like policies and procedures in general. Okay. The other federal update was on our full enrollment initiative. As part of the program requirements, we're required to maintain a 97% enrollment, which was some of the challenges we had because of the lack of children in a given school district that made it difficult for us to fully enroll a given classroom of 20 kids. We'll have an average of 15 to about 18, and that kind of was pretty much the average for the entire year, where others were a little bit low. But keep in mind, some of our school sites maintain 100% throughout most of the year, but it's just those pocket areas that kind of brought the overall average down. So part of our plan was to address that by matching our grant with the number of enrolled kids that we're able to service, which is a combination of redistributing the school sites that we have a classroom in and making sure we have adequate staffing for all of the classrooms within our program. Next on our item it's called ERSI, which is Eligibility, Recruitment, Selection, Enrollment, and Attendance. This is kind of like our registering process, and that's kind of where I oversee most of it. So part of the challenge we had with this is that our recruitment process has, could use a little bit more beefing. Like Ms. Gutierrez said, that we need better advertisement, and that was one of the things we did note down in our plan, is to try and be more out there in the community, better advertising, get out in all of those social media platforms to show how important Head Start is and how it can benefit families. And with that, we are currently registering for the upcoming school year. We do have some streamlined processes that we've put in place, lessening paperwork for the application process, and being able to receive some of the required documents through electronic means as well, like emailing us or WhatsApping us some like shot records or check stubs that prove their eligibility to the program. Selection, we did have the selection criteria for the upcoming school year approved, so that's in place now with a few minor changes. Most of it was just kind of increasing the priority points for families that have children with disabilities or current IEP for, just a few more points higher. So those were like some of the considerations that was done in the selection process. But most of the pointing system was kept in place. As far as enrollment, we were at 84.8% for the month of April, and then the month of May it will be reported for next month as we are required to report like by the 7th of every month for the month there. The next page, we do have the list of the history of our enrollment from August until May, April, and attendance as well, which has shown that, we've been at 67 up until as high as 73% throughout our enrollment. So we've always been shy of our required 85% enrollment. A lot of it has been with health clearance challenges, as well as maybe the program staff putting more emphasis to have our families realize the importance of how important it is to try and maintain good attendance. Sometimes if a child just kind of was a little bit sick, the parent may just keep them home, maybe just a few extra days, and those few extra days kind of affected the overall attendance of the families. So, we will have to try and work harder to encourage these families to, bring it in. If it's just a little minor runny nose, it can still come in. And if there's questionable, there's a school nurse on site that can make that determination. Otherwise, send a child in. So that's kind of like one of the challenges we have, is to really put ourselves out there to encourage families and engage with them to make sure they're coming in and attending regularly. As far as our education area, the teaching staff normally do an end of year home visits and transition of the families going into kindergarten. With this, we normally have a little, like at the end of the year PTA, where they kind of give the families guidelines as what to do in preparing your child for kindergarten. Along with that, with health services, we provide an end of year health audit, which shows the current health documents that have been submitted, which can, in most cases, be used to meet the health requirements for most of the children entering into kindergarten. Any children with any kind of health concerns may need additional health clearances, but that would normally be determined by the school health nurse for each child. With our ongoing monitoring, that was some of the challenges that the program have. A lot of our staff were, being utilized as classroom support aides to ensure, proper and adequate supervision. And so, that kind of took a little bit away from us from doing routine monitoring of our program. And that, part of that was we were not always able to follow through on reaching out to families to make sure that, hey, your child was out, you want to try and make them in. If you feel that your child cannot, send them in. Let the nurse determine if they can stay out or stay at home. And then the nurse can give you a guide of how many days they should be out and when they can be expected to return back to school. So those were some of the ongoing challenges we have with monitoring. Now, correspondences, we do have a number of correspondences we did attach with the board report for you guys, and a few of the notifications that I just mentioned earlier about the risk notification and the full enrollment initiative and the plan that we have submitted with that. It's all attached here. And then, so I just thought I'd like to circle back to the request for the budget revisions of the projected cost savings. So this will be items that we'd like to update and put into different categories so we can best utilize it for the program, to like other routine maintenance and other categories, buying supplies for the upcoming school year, as well as the approval for the carry of any unexpended funds for fiscal year 2026. Thank you.
So we just need your approval for those two requests that is mentioned by Alan. Request to approve the budget revision of project cost savings. And then the other approval that we need to request is the carryover of unexpected funds for fiscal year 2026.
I have a couple of questions. How does the change of scope affect the vacancies that are being requested? So if you're doing a change of scope because you're anticipating centers for closure, then how does that affect the community program aid 2 vacancies, the 6 vacancies for Head Start aides, and 2 vacancies for the teachers? You don't have to answer it today, maybe at the next meeting. The second question I have is, as your enrollment is decreasing, so you're currently, as of April, at 453, even though you have the 2 vacancies, what justifies now recruiting for an assistant Head Start program director if the enrollment's going down? You don't have to answer it today, but maybe at the next meeting. And is the Assistant Head Start Program Director an existing position, or is it something being created?
I believe, well, first of all, the reduction we were looking at, there was a recent, I'm sorry, performance standard that requires for a community program aide to have no more than 40 children per caseload. And so we were looking at about 400 for the reduction, so that we have about 8 positions. I think we need one more to make it a 20 evenly across the board, so that would match that number for that, because we're still shy 2 vacant, 1 or 2, I'm sorry, for the community program aide.
You have 2 vacancies.
Yeah, 2 vacancies, so that it'll match the number of the enrollment if we're looking around 400 students.
But you're also converting
And then
2 community program aides to create or recruit for an Assistant Head Start Program
Yeah.
Director.
yeah,
You don't have to answer it today, just, is
Yeah.
it an existing position? And if it is, that's fine. But 2, your enrollment's going down, so why are we now hiring another director or an assistant director? And then as a follow-on to that, the program director has to be approved by Region 9? Region West
Region
now.
West is the current.
Is this
title.
new Assistant Head Start Program Director, does it have to be approved by Region West? Because the program director has to be approved, and you don't have to answer it now, but maybe at the next meeting. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Terry.
I have a question. On your report, page 3, school year 25-26, enrollment of children with an IEP. You don't, like Dr. Farah, don't have to answer now, but in the next meeting, please explain this. So on the last column, say number with a concern who do not have an IEP. So what are you doing? Because these are students that needs the services, okay? And then I look at the when in the next week before the school year, this is on the attendance. So in the bullet, low attendance ADA has been due to health clearances not being met, as well as families needing more support in understanding the importance of maintaining regular attendance. Is this have to do with English is the other language, it's not their second language? Or what is Head Start doing to give the support to these families? Because you say you're really, I mean, what is here is it needing more support. So what kind of support have the Head Start been doing? And is there it has to do with language barrier? Because I know that that a lot of kids are in there. So please, in your next report, be more specific. I don't want just this, because right now you're not gonna tell me this. So we look at the attendance, and it looks like the lowest attendance. What is the problem? Those are the things, because the attendance keeps going down. And but especially I'm concerned of the IP, because SPEC has a big issue, okay? And the Head Start kids are no difference from the other students with concern of do not have an IP. What are you doing to have those students have the IP? Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'd like to move that we approve the Head Start report and their request for the approval of the budget revision, primarily due to cost savings from unfilled staff vacancies and unexpended funds category, and also their request for the approval for carryover of expended funds into fiscal year 2026.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Second, thank you, Mr. Torres. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Please get us additional information next meeting, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a resolution. We referred this to committee. It came back with input from the committee, and then from the superintendent. We discussed it sort of a little bit at our last meeting too. But now we have a resolution for action. Resolution 202603, relative to strengthening the integration of civics education at the Guam Department of Education, middle and high schools. I'd like to entertain a motion for consideration. Is there a motion? Thank you, Dr. McNinch. Is there a second to the motion? Discussion? Maybe, yes, please.
I like the concept. However, I don't know where we can put this in to have from elementary all the way up to fourth grade cursive writing.
Cursive writing.
Yes. Kids today do not write cursive. It's handprint, and then when you apply for a position, on the left side it says print name. On the right side it says signature. These kids don't know. They only have to print their name. Okay, so that's my motion, to include the department's study, to include cursive writing from elementary.
May I make a suggestion, Mr. Adam?
Separate?
A separate add a motion, and then we can ask the superintendent to look into it and then come back with possibly a resolution like this, and then we can act on it.
No problem.
Thank you very much. All right. So any comments on the resolution of including civics education? Dr. Wampet, why don't you also give us an idea of what your review was and how you intend to realize this resolution should it be voted on by the board?
Should be, yeah, well, no, it should be.
It will be.
Oh, no, I thought you said should
How do
be.
you plan to make it happen?
So I'm going to ask Dr. Lewick, because she actually had worked with the committee to address this, and what's on the board policy as well, or the curriculum.
So as previously stated, we do support these resolutions because this will really help strengthen the civics course that we offer for the high school, and at the same time will be extended to the middle school. And with this resolution, we'll come up with a plan of action on how we can execute this in the middle school, and making sure that we are provided with curriculum and course studies on civics that can be embedded to other subject areas in social studies.
So just as clarification, this is only going to be an update to the existing curriculum, correct?
Yes.
We're not creating new courses separately. We just need to make that clear, because I think that was brought up during the work session.
That is correct. We will not create another course studies and add more to the plate of the student, the current credits or units right now. And instead, it will be embedded to the existing courses that are being offered.
Thank you. Just for the information of the group, in discussing this, I understand there was talk about combining it with the government class, and also even enhancing it in our Chamorro Studies courses, and the what? Character education course as well. Very important. So we need to hit it from all angles, and I'm very pleased to see the enthusiasm from the leadership and the teams and the teachers at the Guam Department of Education for this. So ladies and gentlemen, on the motion, we have a motion, we have a second. Are we ready to vote? Oh, Dr.
Another correction, just in the resolution, if we can just be consistent, the title says Guam Education Board, and in the context, it says Guam Board of Education. Just make sure that it's the right language. 3 instances of Guam Board of Education. It should be GEB.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Okada. Dr. Ron?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just as a brief comment, as a political scientist, I'm all in favor of things that will keep political scientists employed. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. McNinch. All right, now, so let's vote. All those in favor of the resolution, please, with corrections in the nomenclature for the department and the board. Resolution number 202603 relative to strengthening the integration of civics education at the Guam Department of Education, middle and high schools. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you very much. Motion passed unanimously. Excellent. All right, and we will entertain a motion for discussion at our next meeting regarding cursive writing. And I think that's very important because it is true. I'll tell you, students know how to use the computer and they know how to push the buttons, but they don't know how to write properly with handwriting, a lot of them, because they don't do it enough. So sometimes I give assignments at the university, it has to be done by hand. Some of it has to be done by hand. And some of it, of course, they generate from their computers, but proper handwriting and presentation is very important in all formats, whether electronic or using the hand, when do writing. And so this is a good idea, Mr. Adam. Thank you very much. All right. Next area, ladies and gentlemen, is Safety in Schools Committee. Is there any action for consideration?
Right here.
Okay.
After consulting with Dr. Heath and several meetings with Dr. McNitch and Mr. Carl Torres, we are ready, Mrs. Gutierrez, to turn over to your policy committee the issue of I had it here. One moment. Oh, the Southern High School swimming pool. If you read a couple of days, about 4 days ago, I think his name is Mr. Aaron Chen. He might be a good asset to find out if they want to rent and whatever money they have expended to the repair of the swimming pool, that it will set it off from the rental. Okay. The second one is a simple, easy one. It's already in the books or in the policy for the community to rent the common area of the school for the community's use. Okay, again, they can work with the principals collectively and what rules and regulations they must follow. Okay, that's it, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jenna. Okay. All right. Well, the superintendent will look at that, those opportunities and get back to us, please, at our next meeting. Superintendent. Regarding the next item, it's Policy Review and Strategic Planning Committee. Any reports?
Yes.
No action needed?
Policy.
We have one up here, okay. The Food and Nutrition Services Management. Thank you. BP 705.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Roy Paris from Food and Nutrition Services.
That's Savon.
And so last week we presented to the Education Board a memo from the superintendent, a memo to the superintendent from the Nutrition and Fitness Advisory Council. I do want to take the time to recognize several of our advisory council members here that took the time to be here. Thank you guys for joining us. And so at the request of the board from the December GEB meeting and in January, we did enlist feedback from the school communities. You had given us the task of engaging the stakeholders everybody from the administrators, the teachers, faculty, staff, parents, students, and professionals in the community. And over the course of the last 5 months, we've done that. We've been successful in hosting 3 advisory council committee meetings since then. And we've provided you the proof of those meetings, including minutes, attendance. And over the course of those meetings, we had the opportunity to present the current board policy to the committee, to the council. We did point out the areas of the policy that were obsolete and non-compliant with federal regulations, which, if kept status quo, would mean that we as a department are non-compliant with the requirements to continue to feed our kids through National School Lunch and School Breakfast Program, as well as Child and Adult Care Food Program. So with the Advisory Council's suggestions and their feedback, we made updates to the board policy, and we presented that draft to them. In our April meeting, the Advisory Council made the motion to approve the draft for the superintendent's review and approval, which we provided to the Deputy Superintendent of Educational Support and Community Learning, as well as the superintendent, who have both approved the draft policy, and we have it presented to you today. And so on behalf of the Advisory Council, and if you look at that memo, it does have, I want to say, in signatures of different Advisory Council members, again, administrators, faculty, staff, parents, and students of the school community in support of this compliant policy. We do want to put a request to the board to kindly ask for you to consider approval of this compliant board policy 705. Thank you.
Kat, do you have copies of the updated policy? This is the historical document.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What's the date? Just hold it 1 second, she'll get it first. Yeah. Can you tell us what the changes are?
Sure, we can kind of give a brief guideline. So back in December, Matthew and I here, we did a WellSat 3.0 assessment of the current board policy. The WellSat 3.0 is a tool endorsed by USDA for school districts to kind of assess their board policy, local school wellness policy, whether it's compliant, whether it's strong, whether it's weak or not. And I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but if I remember correctly, on comprehensiveness, which is whether or not our policy included all the federally required regulations, I believe we scored a 44 out of 100. So we as educators know that that means an F. When it came to strength, how well enforced is our policy here in the department, we scored a 4% out of 100. So F minus, minus, minus. So we went back with the Advisory Council's help, and we identified all the areas that we were non-compliant, which included obsolete Smart Snacks language. So just historically, Smart Snacks was enacted by USDA School Lunch and School Breakfast in 2016, or I'm sorry, 2014. The last time this board policy was updated was 2016, and unfortunately, those updates were not included. So this portion of the federal requirements has been obsolete since 2016, so over 10 years. Thank you, Kat. Other areas that we were non-compliant included nutrition standards for the foods and beverage served as part of breakfast and lunch. Again, I don't think it was omitted by any intent. I think the standards have just been updated since then, so we wanted to make sure that that was included. There was also no responsible official for enforcing compliance, which is required by USDA. So in the updated draft, and again, as advised by the Advisory Council, we put that up to task to the FNSMD administrator with the superintendent as the state program officer. Lastly, it was plans for assessing and evaluating this policy. According to USDA, the Nutrition and Fitness Advisory Council should review the policy for adherence every year, and it should be assessed for compliance using a tool like WellSat or similar every 3 years. So I don't know the historical record of how often this board policy has been assessed, but if I'm looking at historical record correctly, this is the first time it's actually been assessed since 2016. And so we put language in the policy to ensure that all of these requirements, as dictated by USDA 7 CFR parts 210 and 220, which dictate the school breakfast and lunch funding for the department, are included in the policy. You're welcome.
I'd like to move that we approve the update of Board Policy 705 as it relates to the Food and Nutrition Services Management.
Do we have a second, please? All right, we have a second, thank you. Discussion.
I read all the documents that was given. Yes, 2016, the responsible party who's supposed to bring to the board is food and nutrition or child nutrition program if the policy needs to be updated. I read the minutes of February 2026 and the March. It's not in detail. It looks like this is the agenda. No discussion. What was discussed by all the members? Yes, I saw an I-box that is there, but it's not a detail like when Ms. Cat prepares the minute of the board, then we can go back and reflect that. So whoever's taking the minutes need to be more specific, more in detail, because when it says here, it's the score currently beating identification of gaps and area for strengthening, it does not say in the minutes. So please, if you're doing minutes, make it more detailed of what was being discussed. If you need Ms. Kat's assistance in how to transcribe minutes, do that way, because I read everything. I read everything when I will receive this. I think that Ms. Jackie, from here on, whoever's taking the minutes, the recording, be in detail, more specific, so that we can go back and ask them during your discussion here. Was, all you have here is you list all the attendees. I know all the attendees that I have confidence, because most of this principal, I know that they know my expectation when they're doing a policy. But to find out more about, what the nutrition standard for this and this and that, please put that in the minutes. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much.
Will do.
So please, Superintendent, make sure that those specificities are included in the future reports. Thank you very much. Are we ready for the motion? All right, all those in favor of EP 705, Food and Nutrition Service Management revisions, say aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Fiscal Management Committee, GEOE financial reports, accounts payable, and
Mike, please.
financial status,
Mike, please.
statement, grant status report. Anyone would like to address these, Dr. Okada?
So the Fiscal Management Committee did meet and discussed all of these reports that are available in your packet. We do not have an update for the declaration of financial status designation as of yet, so there's nothing to approve there. The unaudited statement of appropriations, expenditures, and encumbrances for fiscal year 26 is available in your packet, as well as the outstanding accounts payable aging report. And so there's no action that's necessary to be taken by this at this time, unless there's any questions regarding the financial report.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much, Dr. Okada. U.S. Department of Education specific conditions report, Dr. Wampat? Anything on that?
No, except maybe to let you know that we had a Zoom meeting this morning with Bruin in preparation for tomorrow's meeting with U.S. Department of Education at 7:30 a.m., which we intend to discuss some of the conditions that will be addressed for the high risk, and the others bring up IDC to get a negotiated percentage, and then lastly to address the letter for determination for the 51 million.
All right, very important discussion tomorrow morning, 7:30. You'll let us know what happens, I hope quickly. We're all kind of concerned about this. Thank you very much. Management and Curriculum Audit Committee. Any report on management curriculum audit, any reports?
The only thing we heard that Franklin Cooper Nurse having a conversation with Dr. Lee was that they're actually waiting to see for the next step in terms of what the board would decide to do. If the board is moved forward, then there is that last portion of the contract, which will mean that they would participate in the implementation of it. Or if we don't, then they walk away and we won't have to pay that last portion of the audit.
May I ask a question on that? Are there additional costs involved if they assist in the implementation?
Only if we should go for the last step, which would be then the implementation where they'll come out and assist the department. But a lot of it is dependent on the board.
All right, so, but we would of course want to receive a recommendation from the superintendent whether or not she feels she needs the additional assistance, or if we are capable of handling it in-house within the department itself. Am I correct?
Yes, what we decided to do is that we gave copies to the deputies to share with their division heads to review all the different sections that some issues came up, and to recommend or not recommend any action to be taken to identify some of the areas that are just not applicable or just cannot be backed. Then we would inform them of that, and whatever we feel maybe might be helpful, then they would make a recommendation. They would take it from there to possibly compile and then present to the board.
All right, so we're still awaiting that to happen. All right, we'll look forward to that discussion at perhaps our next meeting, Madam Chair, or not sure yet how long it will take. All right, but it's in action, right? They are considering this. All right, very good. Any questions from members?
I do have a question. There are some recommendations that are for the board to consider. So I suggest that you set up a ad hoc committee to create the template, identify the issues, do the research, and dispose of each of those accordingly with either action items or not relevant, or provide a reason why it should no longer be there.
This would be for the board.
Yes, there are some, yeah.
So I'm pleased to therefore take the recommendation, and do we need a motion for that, ladies and gentlemen? To form an ad hoc committee to do this? Maybe we should, all right? Or I'll just appoint. Okay, so I hereby appoint Dr. Okada to chair the committee, the ad hoc committee, and Ms. Mary Gutierrez to be the co-chair of the ad hoc committee. Thank you very much for your volunteerism. And Dr. Ron can be a member. Please be a member, Dr. Ron. Thank you.
We have to be very careful.
All right, very good. All right, that handles that for the moment. Yes, go ahead, Dr. Wampat. Oh, Mr. Blanc, I'm sorry.
Only one more item. This management audit, we were supposed to make a response to the legislature by the end of last year. And I know that we had instructed the superintendent to submit something in writing to the legislature as to why we have not complied with the law. Okay, so see, that's again, we don't see those things. So that's why I raise these kind of questions, is because we don't see it. And that's a board action, is to whether accept or reject this management audit. And so thank you. If you have done so, maybe we'll get a
Should we
copy.
also, perhaps Mr. Saban, should we also give them an update on our ad hoc committee as well?
Well, if
Let them know we
the
have
superintendent
formed
already
an ad hoc
responded
committee.
as to why,
Yeah.
I don't know if she included that as the reasoning,
Right.
but she
Well,
could also
I think it'd be
amend.
good if we
Yeah.
could inform the superintendent that we have formed an ad hoc committee by the board to look into the necessary actions of the actions of the board with respect to the audit. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. That's very good. Ladies and gentlemen, now we should move over to legislative committee. There's been a lot of legislative action and considerations involving our school system. Recently, we'd like to ask the superintendent to give us a little overview of legislative action.
The Center Board introduced legislation to waive the instructional days. And what we did is that we went down to the legislature, testified on it. I also was in session with the senators, and it was passed by 11 votes then to waive the 180 days of instructional days. So the second is that, and tomorrow is the last day for students, and Thursday is the last day for teachers. The second bill that was also introduced by Senator Borja is actually granting the department greater flexibility to use lapsed funds. And based on their committee report, is that there are 4 senators who voted in favor to pass and 4 to report out only. In my conversation with the senator this morning, is that when they go into session, they would place bill number 309. Yes, bill 309 on the top of the agenda, then place it on the voting file to vote, pass, and submit to the governor for her signature. So that's the 2 bills that are affecting the department and are critical for the department. There is another bill, but that's ongoing, which is Bill 314, which is an act to build Simon Sanchez High School now. My understanding is that they met while I was there, and they met as a committee of the whole. But there was a motion to request that they get written transcripts of 6 separate meetings by the evaluators and the negotiators. The director responded that he would be able to have them transcribed and brought in this afternoon at 2 p.m. So they were meeting briefly on it, and they again recess until tomorrow morning to continue on with the transcripts. So that bill is still ongoing. The BBMR is called, DPW is there, the Attorney General and his staff are there. Carla, the principal, is there because she is included as an evaluator and a negotiator. Unfortunately for DOE, it's Dr. Swanson, so I could not sit to respond to that because I didn't sit in any one of those meetings. And Gita was asked to also come down to the legislature. So that's the latest that I have on that special session this morning.
Okay, so we'll wait to see what happens next with respect to this. We hope they act quickly to support Simon Sanchez so we can get the school built. Thank you very much, Superintendent. Any comments, any questions? All right, let's continue. New business, waiver of loss of instructional days. Dr. Wampat did report on that already. Dr. Wampat?
Yes, the committee actually met with the board on a work session, and it was reviewed, and they were asked to go back to work on some other policy, language for that policy, so that's not ready to be reported out.
All right, thank you. Board Policy 379, Artificial Intelligence, AI Use Policy. Status?
That's cancel.
Not
That's
ready
not ready.
either? Okay,
No.
that's the one, okay. Then we have the spend plan, lapse funds, prior fiscal year fiscal lapses, and ARP payroll reimbursements. Dr. Wampat?
Yes, so what we did is that we had requested, like I said earlier, for the untying our hands to amend the law to allow the department to spend lapse funds. For the fiscal year 24 lapses of 26 million, we've listed a set of projects that we are considering as critical for the department, and on top of the list, and you should have a copy, is that it's an estimated amount of, originally I thought it was 10.9, but I was corrected, that's $11 million for FP Leon Guerrero Middle School, so that we'll be able to open the school. If you want to break down, I can share that with you. It's collateral equipment, classroom furniture, fire suppressions, alarm, bell, intercom, infrastructure, curriculum supplies and materials, a gym and cafeteria water heater, temporary classroom demolition. Oh, that, I'm sorry, we have to take out, we did that ourselves already. The gym repair and the basketball hoop arm replacement and the cafeteria equipment. So that is the amount that we're looking at for FP Leon Guerrero Middle School. We listed our facility, our utilities, because our understanding, what we found out when we first came in, was that half of that amount was actually transferred out from utilities, and we need to be able now to replace those funds to cover utilities, which is water and power, for the rest of the year. The third, but this is not really so much in the same order, and these are all estimated amounts, but definitely FB is the top of the list. But we need to be able to maintain all of our elevators. I know we're currently in court, and the courts for a lawsuit about it, so we have to show proof of having contracts to maintain them, but we also want to be able to go out to the rest of our schools who do have elevators to either repair, replace, and even add on a lift. SPED buses are pretty old. SPED will be able to provide additional buses. If we buy 2, they'll be able to purchase 4 out of federal funds. So that's the reason to provide support for that. Tiny Eye, which is critical for our children, in which they provide occupational therapy and speech therapy, and that's up to the tune of $500,000. Primero Ed CyberSoft, petroleum gas, Surf Safe, and for safety, I'm sorry, he's not here, but we want to be able to put solar lights and cameras in all of our schools to cut back on vandalism and the cost of repair. And then all of our cafeteria equipment for all of our schools. E-books, just to let you know, this is primarily only for K-3 children, and teacher resources and high quality instructional materials. So we're not getting any for the upper grades because we have more than enough textbooks in our schools for those, but we want to start with our K-3 with e-books. And then to stay with the law, the original law, which means then is to also address sports, gyms, and field lights in our schools. The other projects in terms of our lapses. Also, we've given you a list of other projects to be done, and there's also a contingency notice that will support any other priorities that, we would encounter. Sometimes we think that what we have here is exactly what we want to do, then we find that there will be other problems that will present itself, and then that moves itself further up on the list of priorities. So that's the list of all the different projects to be done and to use these lapse funds for.
All right. Thank you, Superintendent. Any questions for Superintendent on this? That was a good report. Thank you. A good summary. Yes, Dr. Okada.
So Dr. Wampat, we did go through this, and just for clarification, the tiny I is for prior year expenditures,
Yes.
and we cannot use grant funding because it has lapsed.
Yes.
Has this been referred to legal counsel or the AG's office as to whether we should pay?
We had legal counsel, our internal auditors, the comptroller, and our procurement officer, basically to review, all of this and all others, that if they are not being paid by federal funds, then technically we have to now use local funds. We have not made a referral to the AG, but for now, I know that we don't have we can't use federal funds to pay for Tiny I or any of the other projects that has expired.
Okay, is there a reason you separated the 500,000 with the 91,000? So you have 91.
I can talk to that a little bit. Just to clarify for you, the 500,000 is, I know that you're asking about AG and legal opinions and stuff, but the services were provided within the grant year. So it was legitimate, it was procured, everything was correct, except somebody forgot to pay the bill. And before it was discovered that the bills weren't paid, the funding lapsed. So that's the issue. This wasn't the procurement vehicle issue or anything.
Okay.
Services were provided within the procurement period and the grant period. It just wasn't paid. And because it wasn't paid, the funding lapsed, and now we're into local.
Yeah.
Anything moving forward after that, right now, the 91 is for new procurements.
The 91 says school year 23-24. Is the 500,000 prior to 23-24?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. And then the second question I have, instructional, educational, the ServSafe permits exist in both. Is one of them to be deleted, or you need it in both? ServSafe. It's only $900, but it's on both of your lists.
It's probably I don't think it's twice.
Okay, so suggest you update the 51 mil spend plan to delete the duplicate.
Copy will do.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have. Most of the other questions I asked during
Thank you, Dr.
work session.
Okay. Do we have anything to discuss in executive session today?
Let me make a motion first. I would like to move that we approve the 26 million spend plan contingent upon the legislative authorization. And then I'll do a separate motion after that. So we'll start with the 26 mil spend plan pending the legislative authorization that allows for the flexibility to include these other projects.
All right. We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a second.
Just to further amend that, you say pending the legislative approval, but actually the governor's approval as well.
Yes.
So we can't do nothing without the governor signing it into law.
Yes. Okay,
Yes,
very
thank
good. So we'll incorporate that language in the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Dr. Pata.
The second motion is the spend plan for the $51 million, again, pending legislative authorization and the governor's approval. But on top of that, the program determination letter from U.S. Department of Education in the audit resolution. Because this has a bigger issue that needs to be cleared by US Ed so that we don't encounter the risk of having to pay it back.
All right. So the motion is,
To approve the 51 spend plan with the condition that I just said, including the remaining balance for contingency, because it's.
on the motion, do we have a second? All right, all those in favor, say aye. Oh, discussion, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Next, last section here, executive session. Is there an executive session for today?
Ma'am, there's no executive session, but I recommend that the executive committee led by Dr. McNinch, associated with the superintendent's evaluation, meet to outline the superintendent's evaluation for the performance period now that her contract has been signed.
All right, Dr. McNinch, you've been asked to assemble your executive committee to begin the work on preparing for the superintendent's initial evaluation. Please be ready to report back to the board next month with your evaluation plan.
I'm gonna call Superman at that.
Okay, thank you, Dr. McNinch. Very good. So no executive session today. We already did celebrating success. As you know, we reordered the agenda to accommodate that. Is there any public participation for today? No public participation. Are you sure there's nobody outside? Outside the door. Is there anyone in the parking lot? Is there anyone in Tejan who wants to testify, or in Manilao? Nobody wants to testify. All right, thank you very much. Yes, Ms. Gutierrez, you want to testify? Public participation?
Kat, did we get any graduation invitation, please? Because we won't be meeting until June, so that the board members can get their invitations.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we received it, and I encourage all the board members to please participate and represent our board and our department as well, and support our students and our families on Guam in the graduations. Announcements and adjournment.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Ladies and gentlemen and members of the public, I am very, very pleased to announce, as all of you know, about Dr. Guthrish's recent appointment and selection for the president of the Guam Community College. I just wanted to personally congratulate her, and certainly we're very pleased to have a continued connection with the Guam Community College within the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McNinch. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Yes. Yes.
17 GC 16.
Yeah. I think I recall meeting the other day. I ran into the president of the university, and she very much would like to participate in the tri-board meeting. So now it's a matter of getting it going. So we'll talk about that again. Start talking about that. Thank you, everyone, for your good thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. There's motion adjourned. Doesn't need a second, right? Or does it need a second? All right, is there a second to the motion? All right, we have a second to motion. All in favor? All opposed? Yeah, we had tomorrow time today, but thank you very much, everybody, for your participation.